This is Random Stranger, and the reason why you're looking at the Commodore 64 load screen rather than a title screen is because one of the very few things that I like in Gauntlet 3 is the title screen music. So I'm going to let that play out in full because it's a really nice bit of composition for the SID chip. And then we'll get into the actual game. So if you want to skip the music, go ahead and jump ahead. Otherwise, we're going to start this. Well, I'm back. And the first thing we have to do before getting into the actual game is select a character. The traditional 4 heroes from Gauntlet are back for this third game. So you've got the warrior, the mage, the elf, and the Valkyrie. But they've also added Neptune, Lizard Guy, Rockman, and Iceman. And I selected the elf because he's faster, and trust me, you'll want to move fast. So the first thing you'll notice here, now that we're into the actual game, is that it's isometric rather than top-down. This is clearly made by a British developer, one of those companies that loved this isometric view in the 80s and early 90s, despite the isometric view never really working very well for game interfaces. Plays fairly... You can see a lot of the similar concepts to Gauntlet, but they're all done a bit worse. You've got monsters appearing from those spawners. You collect treasure and food. The food meter is that 5,000 number. Below my score, it's going to be constantly counting down. One thing in Gauntlet 3, the final quest, as it was subtitled, is that areas are now linked. So I can go back and forth, and there's 8 stages to the game, 8 collected areas that I'll have to wander around to do a series of what are essentially fetch quests, though there's very little guidance for that. The treasure doesn't actually matter that much except for score, but it's Gauntlet. Why are you playing if you're not collecting treasure? You also notice that the elf fires nice circular bullets now. Everyone fires the same circles. in this version. I am playing the Commodore 64 version, which was never actually released. It was developed in about 1991, maybe 1992, and never came out. The Saturn version, excuse me, not Saturn, Atari ST. Well, there I've gotten the first item I was required to collect in my fetch quest. So my next goal is to get to the well. But the Atari ST, Amiga versions, and a Timex Sinclair version actually came out. Or excuse me, Spectrum. I'm thinking of the other British microcomputer that wasn't very good. You see, I came back out where I started. And right over here is the well that I was supposed to travel to. Now, since the game wasn't released, I suspect that a lot of it is in an unfinished state, so some things can't be helped. There's a few little oddities that I'm willing to chalk up to things that would be cleaned up before a proper release. But the basic game design is not part of it. You saw there, after I killed the monster spawner, monsters still appear. It usually takes about 10 to 15 seconds for the game to realize, oh yeah, that monster spawner's gone. I don't know why my life started suddenly dropping like a stone there when I approached the well, but that's what was supposed to happen. Now I have the key from the well because I gave it a bucket. And I'm off to drop the key off at an altar, because that's where you put keys, right? Lining up the shots is really rough in this. Because monsters just seem to never be quite where they should be for the shot. That green guy walking back and forth cannot be killed. But all he does is walk back and forth. He's just an obstacle. The only monsters that can be killed in this first stage are ghosts. And you'll be seeing that kind of thing a lot. There are 5 regions like this in the first stage. I do not visit one of them because it's unnecessary. It's nothing worth seeing anyways. That blue treasure chest is either trapped or poisonous, so I'm not getting it. So you're going to see I'm obviously in Tristram at the beginning of Diablo here. That's the altar I'm supposed to go to. Now on the Amiga version, there's a timer that starts up right then for bonus points if you can reach the end quickly enough. That was a potion I just picked up. I've always found potions to be pretty situational in Gauntlet, which always made the wizard seem like a not quite a viable choice. Although at least he had strong shots, that which made him better off than the Valkyrie in just about every situation. There was a potion hiding behind that tree back there. The elf can only carry 3 potions. I suspect the other characters have the same limitation, but I'm not playing through this game more times than I have to find out. It's really unpleasant to play once. There's a bridge back here. That's what appeared when I dropped the key off at the altar. As far as I can tell, Gauntlet III was this Gauntlet III, I should say, was never released in the U.S. The fact that the platforms were the Spectrum, the Atari ST, and the Amiga should tell you that they were European focused. There was another version of Gauntlet III that is a completely different game, which was developed for the Lynx. We're on stage 2 now. And I should tell you, the rest of this video is going to be stage 2. And it's mainly following one long, winding, annoying path. Really, you can end it now and jump up to the next video, which I will hopefully have posted by the point that you hear this, and see Stage 3. You've already seen everything you need here. I am going to not cut anything except the loading screens because, 1, if I had to suffer, then everyone does, and 2, from what I've been able to tell, there isn't a real walkthrough or set of videos guiding people through this game. So, since I had to figure out pretty much all of this on my own, I thought it'd be nice to put it all down. That's right, I have to wander these paths until I find 5 keys. There will be 1 key on each little mini level. These enemies really aren't functionally different from the ghosts. And there's one thing that bothers me in this game a lot. When you move diagonally, you're moving according to the isometric layout of the game. When you shoot diagonally according to the video screen of the computer. So a diagonal shot does not shoot diagonally. It shoots kind of at a weird angle for what you need to do. You can't shoot ahead of your movement when you move diagonally, which, for some reason, is something that's very useful in Gauntlet. I accidentally picked up that potion when I should have used one. Not that big of a deal, though. That snake is another obstacle that can't be destroyed. Uh-oh, the door is locked. Well, I guess I have to go get all the keys and then walk all the way back here. I'm sure that isn't an annoying bit of padding that just makes the game longer rather than more fun. I gotta say, I don't think the graphics are horrible for the Commodore 64. I mean, the animations are lacking even for that platform, but I've seen worse. Now, one of the major strategies in Gauntlet was always to shoot across gaps and through corners, but you can't shoot over that hole. No reason why, you just can't. Yeah, getting that food wound up being worth it, huh? If I remember correctly, plates of food in the old Gauntlet couldn't be shot, but the jars of booze could. But all food can be shot and destroyed in this game. Obviously, when I die, I can use one of those credits to continue. And so I have to make it all the way to the end of World 8. That was a long haul to get to that path. I'm sure that won't be happening on every single stage of this world. I'm trying really hard not to shoot the food there. Since I know that I'm going to be coming back, it doesn't hurt to leave some things behind because I can always get them later. And one problem you might run into if you go and get this game for yourself and want to try it out is that it only works on PAL Commodore 64s. It does not work on NTSC ones. The elf can run backwards faster than the enemies can walk forward, so I can always outpace them and try to get a few extra shots in. Oh, isn't that nice of them to put the key right in the middle of that? I love how the enemies just sometimes freeze completely in this game. And something I noticed about this world is that the enemy spawners didn't seem to come back, which isn't always the case. Oh boy, walk across this bridge very slowly and be unable to shoot ahead of you yourself. If you hold down the fire button, you shoot your next arrow or ball or whatever the instant the previous one goes away. Which is kind of helpful for clearing out guys ahead of you. Yep. From what I've seen, and it's essentially just brief video descriptions of barely the first stage, the Amiga version is the one to play if you actually wanted to try this out. It looks better. It still seems to move slowly and clunkily, but it doesn't seem to be quite as miserable of an experience. The gameplay is still the same, so a lot of those same flaws are going to show up here. You're just going to spend your time walking slowly through hallways until you reach the next item to pick up, and then walk slowly back. I have to confess, I got a little bit lost in this one. I can't remember the layout of these mazes. All the terrain looks the same to me. Well, at least we already know where the exit is, and again, I should have used the potion. These paths are angled just so that you can't maneuver through them cleanly. Sometimes you can take a diagonal step, sometimes you can't. It just stutters and pokes. Trying to get to that food, but I'm just stuck on the terrain. I should have done that before I picked that up. You see, enemies just keep spawning in despite the generator being gone. There we go. Hey, maybe 4 keys can do it. Maybe I should walk back all the way and find out if I only needed 4 keys instead of 5. Yeah, right. So where's that exit spot? Where is it? Gotta walk around and hopefully trigger it eventually. There it goes. Wrong side of that lake. Not able to hit the generator up there. But I cleared out everyone anyways, eventually. Now there, a drawbridge has been lowered, except the bridge is already there. That message is exactly what appears in the Amiga version at the end of Stage 1, which makes me think it was placeholder text that was going to be altered before the game was released. So, it's a weird little error. There's no bonus to collect by hurrying. Getting hit by invisible things again. Oops, wrong way. All these paths look alike. Really hate the way the portrait in the lower corner stares at you. There's something I forgot to point out before. There are chests and food and enemy generators that are just off the screen that you can't collect. Isn't that nice of them? And here, the exit spot just will not trigger for some reason. So I get to spend a lot of time walking back and forth going, is this it? Is it over here? What about here? Maybe it's here. What about this spot? Are you at this spot? Could you be at that spot? The walk back does more to deplete my life than anything else. Is there some booze? Of course, I'd be at the exact same level if I collected it on the way down. I wound up going the long way around when I shouldn't have. Thinking I was one more level up or two more levels up. It all looks the same. But at least that bridge, there's a unique landmark. Where are you, exit point? Where's the exit point? Why are you hiding? Where could that exit point? There it is. You have to take your hand off the joystick to use the potions in this game, which is the potions are on the left shift. Don't hit the wrong button over there, though, because one of those is the fire button for player 2. And then they would appear, and you'd have to either let them die or control 2 characters. We're just about finished here as I come into the exit.